December 21st, 1970. Elvis Presley walked through the White House gates. He was going to meet President Richard Nixon. The media didn't know. The public didn't know. Only a few people knew. Elvis asked Nixon for one thing: a federal agent badge. But why? Why did the world's most famous man want to become a secret agent? And what did they really talk about that day in the Oval Office? 53 years later, documents were released. And the truth was unbelievable. Los Angeles, Elvis's house, 2 a.m. Elvis couldn't sleep. Priscilla woke up. "Elvis, are you okay?" "No, I'm not okay." "What happened?" Elvis stood up. He looked out the window. "This country is falling apart. Drugs, crime, hippies, communists. Someone has to do something." Priscilla was surprised. "You? What can you do?" Elvis turned to her. There was a strange light in his eyes. "I can do something, but I need help. The government's help." "What do you mean?" "I'm going to become a federal agent. DEA, FBI, doesn't matter. But I need to be official." Priscilla laughed. "Elvis, you're a singer, not an agent." "But I can be an agent. You'll see." December 20th morning, Elvis left Graceland without telling anyone. He only took two friends, Jerry Schilling and Sonny West. "Where are we going?" Jerry asked. "Washington, D.C. to see the president." "What? Do you have an appointment?" "No, but I will." On the plane, Elvis wrote a letter, handwritten, to President Nixon. "Dear President Nixon, I am Elvis Presley. I am a patriot. I want to serve my country. I want a federal agent badge. I can talk to young people. I can keep them away from drugs. Please give me a chance. Respectfully, Elvis Presley." The plane landed in Washington, but what he didn't know yet. Elvis arrived at the White House gate. He wore strange clothes: purple velvet jacket, gold belt, big sunglasses. Security was shocked. "Are you Elvis Presley?" "Yes, I want to see President Nixon." "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but give him this letter." Elvis handed over the letter. Security hesitated, then took it. "Wait here." The letter reached Egil Bud Krog, Nixon's advisor. He read it and couldn't believe it. "Elvis Presley is at the White House. He wants to become a federal agent." Another advisor laughed. "He must be crazy." But Krog thought differently. "No, this is an opportunity. Elvis is influential with young people. It'll improve Nixon's image." They consulted Nixon. "President, Elvis Presley wants to see you?" Nixon frowned. "Who?" "Elvis Presley, the singer." "I know who he is. What does he want?" "A federal agent badge, to fight drugs." Nixon thought, then smiled. "Interesting, but keep it short." This is where everything changed. 12:30 p.m. Elvis entered the Oval Office. President Nixon stood up. They shook hands. "Mr. Presley, pleased to meet you." "President Nixon, I'm honored." Both were tense, but for different reasons. Nixon looked at Elvis's outfit. "Interesting taste you have?" Elvis smiled. "Thank you, President. You look very sharp, too." They sat. Nixon asked, "I was told you want a federal agent badge. Why?" Elvis leaned forward. "Because, President, this country is in danger. Drugs are everywhere. Young people are being destroyed, and I want to help." "How?" "I can talk to young people. They'll listen to me. But I need to be official. I need a badge. Otherwise, I'm not credible." Nixon adjusted his glasses. "Mr. Presley, you're a singer, a very successful singer. But being an agent, that's different." "I know, President, but I'm ready. I can get training. I can do everything." Nixon paused, then smiled. "All right, I'll give you a badge, but conditionally." "What condition?" "This stays secret. Media won't know, and you'll report to me." Elvis's heart raced. "Deal, President." Nixon pulled a badge from a drawer. DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration. "Here it is. Now you're an official federal agent." Elvis took the badge, held it in his hands. His eyes filled. "Thank you, President. I will serve you." But there was something in Nixon's eyes. Doubt or fear. Wait a minute. Don't miss this detail. "Shall we take a photo?" Nixon said. "Of course, President." The photographer came. Elvis and Nixon stood side by side, shook hands, smiled. Click. That photo became the White House's most requested photograph. Millions saw it, but nobody knew the truth behind that photo. After the photo, Nixon whispered, "Mr. Presley, can I ask you something?" "Of course, President." "Are you really against drugs or do you use them?" Elvis froze. "I only use prescription medication. What my doctor prescribes." Nixon nodded. "I understand, but be careful. Even prescriptions can be dangerous." Elvis smiled, but thought to himself, "You don't know. I've already lost." But here's the shocking part. After Elvis left, Nixon turned to his advisors. "Follow him. What he's doing, what he's interested in, report to me." "But President, he wants to help you." "Nobody just wants to help. He wants something. Find out what." Same day, FBI opened a file on Elvis. "Elvis Presley, got DEA badge. But is he trustworthy? Investigate." Weeks passed. Elvis showed the badge to everyone, his friends, his fans. "Look, I'm a federal agent." But the real mission never came. Nobody told him what to do. They just gave him a badge and forgot. Elvis was disappointed. "The president used me, just for the photo." Sonny West asked, "So what will you do now?" Elvis looked at the badge, then put it in his pocket. "I don't know, but this badge will be useful for something. What you've seen so far is nothing." Elvis became paranoid. "Someone's watching me, FBI, CIA. I don't know, but someone's there." Priscilla worried. "Elvis, nobody's watching you." "They are. Ever since I got the badge, phones are tapped. My house is watched." "Maybe you should give the badge back." "No, this is mine. I earned it." But he really was being watched. The FBI file was getting thicker. Elvis Presley, suspected drug use, unclear political views, potential threat. Threat? Elvis? But why? Because Elvis started saying dangerous things. "The government is lying. The Vietnam War is wrong. Nixon is a liar." His advisors warned him. "Elvis, be careful. Don't say these things." "Why? I'm a federal agent. I have the right to speak." "No, you just carry a badge. You're not an agent." Elvis understood the truth. He'd been used. He'd been played. You won't believe this. The Watergate scandal broke. Nixon had to resign. Elvis watched the news and was shocked. "I trusted him to become an agent." But then he learned a detail. In the Watergate investigation, Elvis's name came up. Elvis Presley secretly met with Nixon, got a badge. Why? What did they talk about? FBI called Elvis for questioning. "Mr. Presley, can you describe your meeting with Nixon?" "I just asked for a badge. That's all." "You didn't discuss anything else?" "No." "Why are you asking?" "Because your name is on Nixon's secret list. Isn't that interesting?" Elvis was scared. "What list?" "Enemies list. Nixon's enemies. And you're on it." Elvis couldn't believe it. "But I wanted to help him. Maybe that's why. He used you, then declared you an enemy." Elvis understood that day. Political games were dangerous, and he was a pawn. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. 1974 to 1977. Elvis started using the badge differently. At airports, going through security, "I'm a federal agent." He showed the badge and got VIP treatment. When stopped by police, "Do you have a badge?" "Yes, officer," and was released. Even when getting drugs, he used the badge. "I'm a DEA agent for research." The irony was painful. The badge he got to fight drugs, he was using to get drugs. His friends warned. "Elvis, this is dangerous. If you get caught..." "I won't get caught, because I'm protected." But he wasn't protected. He was just fooling himself. as security approached. August 1977, Elvis's last days. The badge was in his bedroom, in a drawer. Lisa Marie asked, "Daddy, what's this?" "That's my badge. President Nixon gave it to me." "What for?" "To serve the country, but I couldn't use it. Never." "Why?" Elvis cried. "Because I failed. I failed at everything." August 16th. Elvis died. When police arrived, they found the badge, still in the drawer. "What's this?" someone asked. "DEA badge, federal agent badge." Elvis Presley was a federal agent? Apparently, but nobody knew. Was the badge buried with Elvis? No. His family kept it. And in 2001, it was auctioned. Sold for $5,000. A badge, a dream, a disappointment. This is where everything changed. The White House released archive documents, and details of the Elvis-Nixon meeting emerged. Notes, letters, photos, and a record. Not audio, but minutes. Elvis Presley unstable, using drugs, could be dangerous. Keep under surveillance. While Nixon gave Elvis the badge, he also opened a file. And the most shocking detail, Elvis was monitored until he died. By FBI, every move. "Why?" a journalist asked. An expert answered, "Because Elvis was influential. Millions listened to him. And if he said the wrong thing, he'd be dangerous." Elvis unknowingly was a government target. Everyone had learned the truth, but the real shock. A book was published. Elvis, the Secret Agent. The author claimed, Elvis really became an agent. He went on secret missions, but documents were hidden. Proof? None. Just speculation. But some believed. Of course Elvis became an agent. Why not? Priscilla was asked in an interview. Did Elvis really become an agent? Priscilla laughed. No, he just wanted a badge, but never got a mission. Never. Then why did he want the badge? Because he was Elvis. He wanted to try everything. He thought he could be an agent. But the truth is, Elvis just wanted to play. Being an agent was a fantasy for him, and Nixon used him for a photo, for PR. When he read that document, new documents released from CIA archives, and a shocking note was found. Elvis Presley, potential asset, usable, but high risk, drug addiction, unstable. Asset? Was Elvis an asset for the CIA? A former CIA agent explained, yes, in the 1970s we used celebrities to gather information. Elvis was a candidate, but never became active. Why? Because he wasn't reliable. He had his own problems. When Priscilla heard this news, she cried. Elvis was used. His whole life he was used. By Colonel, by Nixon, by CIA. Everyone used him. But what they didn't know yet. Elvis Presley and Richard Nixon. December 21st, 1970. A historic meeting. But for what? Really to fight drugs or something else? The truth is, Elvis wanted to belong to something. A purpose, a mission. The badge gave him that feeling. Nixon saw a PR opportunity. The king supports me. Improved his image. Both won. But both lost. Elvis got the badge, but no mission. He was disappointed. Nixon used Elvis, but lost everything in Watergate, and the badge remained just a piece of metal. Today, that photo still hangs. In the White House Museum, Elvis and Nixon, shaking hands, smiling. But nobody knows. What's behind those smiles? A journalist asked, what does this meeting mean for America? A historian answered, it shows two things. First, the political power of celebrities. Second, the government's ability to manipulate. And Elvis? What did he feel? He felt used, but didn't admit it, because if he did, everything would collapse. Priscilla, in her last interview in 2024. Elvis was happy carrying that badge because he felt important, but in reality he was just a toy. Nixon's toy. When they thought it was over. The voice on the phone was familiar, but... We found an audio recording in the White House archives. December 21st, 1970. Elvis and Nixon, off the official record. And they're talking. About what? Not about drugs, about war, Vietnam. And Elvis says, "President, this war is wrong. Young people are dying. Stop it." And Nixon responds, "Mr. Presley, don't interfere in political matters. You just sing." And then Elvis stands up, says, "I'm not just a singer, I'm an American, and I will make my voice heard," and walks out of the room. What about the photo? Before the photo. That's why nobody knows. They had a fight. Elvis never died. He just left the stage. But that badge, it stayed with him, a symbol of hope and betrayal forever.